do you write the perfect cover letter? If we haven't met before, hello, my name is Paul McGregor and I'm here to help you find work that matters faster. And eventually this question is going to come up, right? You've found a good role and you need to be putting in your CV and your cover letter. So how do you write a perfect cover letter? Well, I tell you what, I have looked at so many books to see what the guidance is out there. This is just a small selection of them. Even one which is the CV book. Sorry, James, but it was kind of useless. It's the fattest of all the books, and it was the least helpful. This book here is good on CVs. The Job Closer by Steve Dalton. And one of the things Steve says is there's no such thing as a perfect cover letter. So with that aside, what's a good enough cover letter? Well, first of all, it needs to be error-free. I just can't stress this enough, actually. With any of your applications, you do not want to be giving people easy reasons to toss you out of the pile. So it's got to be error-free. Secondly, it needs to be clear and concise. I don't think anybody should be writing more than a one-page cover letter. If you can't summarize things simply on a page, that says something about what you're going to be like in the role. And sometimes even when you're in the hiring position, it makes things awkward because suddenly someone had to have stapled it and sometimes they don't staple it. I've been in a situation where I've lost someone's second page of a cover letter. So no. It needs to be one page, clear and concise. And then thirdly, it needs to answer why. Why you? Why this role? Why now? Why this organization? But mainly, why you? Why should we interview you? Steve gives a really valuable framework that I'm going to unpack for you a little bit now to structure your cover letters. So it goes like this: R, A, C. And there's something magical about the power of three. And so when I'm working with people, coaching them on interviews, I'm teaching them ways to remember things in threes because our brain loves threes. It's easier to remember things in three. And there's also all this research that shows that if you give 3 reasons for something, people will believe it. If you give 4 reasons or 5 reasons, right, more than 3, they actually start to become skeptical. They don't believe your claims as much. So the power of 3 is important in many ways for memorability, but also for conviction. So what is the RAC framework? The first part is we have a reason. And this is a reason of why they should interview you, right? And where do you find those? Well, have a look at the job description. There will be something in there which will say, these are the key reasons why the job exists. It might be called outcomes, or sometimes it might be in the responsibilities section. There's something that tells you why this job is being put out there. And you just want to choose the 3 of those reasons that connect strongly to you and the skills and attributes you have, and that obviously the employer cares about. And so then in your cover letter, you've got 3 paragraphs where you're using this reason, and we'll go through the other 2 parts, the RAC model, 3 paragraphs, no more than 3, would be my suggestion. And each one you just give a reason to start with. And so that might be leadership in uncertainty. Maybe that's the first thing they're looking for. Might be excellent numerical analytical skills. And so you give that reason. You can just bold it so that actually when someone looks at your CV, they can just see the 3 reasons, the 3 bullet points, and they might not even have to read much more than that, and they get a sense of what is the value you bring. So you got your reason in bold. Might be a couple of words, it might be a sentence, but you want to keep it clear and concise. And then we go on to the anecdote. And this can come in a couple of forms. It could be one of your bullet points from your CV that is demonstrating why that reason is true. So leadership under uncertainty, from this time to this time, I delivered a transformational change project at this organization, which resulted in profitability increasing by 42%, or employee engagement improving by 33%, right? If you can include numbers in your anecdotes, that makes them so much more powerful, so much more believable. So it can be an anecdote from stuff you've done, or it might be an anecdote about that you've had through your interactions with the prospective employer. And so this is where the connection process is so valuable. And so, when I'm working one-on-one, when I'm coaching people, a big part of what I'm doing is gently pushing you to connect with organizations that you're passionate about in ways that don't feel icky, that are based on curiosity and interest. And through that connection process, you will learn stuff about what an organization is looking for, what are the problems they're facing, where are they going strategically, why are they hiring for these sorts of roles. And you might also learn from people that you interview in the target organization why they love the role as well. And so sometimes you can connect to those sorts of stories, and the more specific your anecdote is here, the better. So I met with bloody bloody blah from the bloody blah team who mentioned the excellent team culture, and that would even be too broad. I'm struggling to think of anything specific right now. It might be, she mentioned that last month three people had babies, and the team really pulled together to ensure they could have more time off than the bare minimum legislative requirement, right? I don't know, something that's really specific. Or it might be talking about the success they've had as an organization in a difficult climate, right? Some sort of anecdote that connects to the reason. So we've got a reason, we've got an anecdote, and then if you've got space, you can exclude this, but it's helpful to have a connection. And this is connecting your anecdote to something that matters for the employer. I actually reckon this was Steve's label for it. I almost think it should be called value. Right? It's like, what's the value of all of that? Why does that matter? Value or impact, right? And so, if you're talking about your leadership skills and you've got all this experience leading through this transformational project which improved profitability or engagement, right? That anecdote may have already shown the value, but you could go a little bit further and you could say, with your organization's focus on thing that's important to them, I will be able to help you to achieve outcome that you care about. So that's our reason anecdote connection, or reason anecdote value. And you just repeat that 3 times. And so, it's got all the standard stuff at the top and at the bottom, but really those 3 chunky paragraphs, that's what you're doing in the cover letter. It makes it easy for people to see what value you bring and understand why they should interview you. And it really connects to what's important for the employer. So there we go. That's how you write the perfect cover letter. First, you know that there is no such thing as a perfect cover letter. So you don't need to spend hours and hours and hours and hours on it. Use ChatGPT to help you. Use a tool like Grammarly to make sure that it is error-free. Give it to somebody else to review and make it clear and concise. ChatGPT can help with that as well. And make sure you're really answering the question, why should we interview you? Which is all about understanding what value, what impact, what difference you're going to make in the role. I hope that helps. And look, if you want more advice, guidance on your journey to try and find work that matters for you and to find it faster, feel free to reach out. I'm really enjoying the coaching relationships that I've got at the moment. Just being able to be alongside people because you can waste so much time trying to find the right stuff, the right advice and guidance on the internet from friends, or you can spend so much time like almost practicing your interviews in real live interviews, and you do not want to be practicing interviews in a real opportunity that you care about and you want to take on. So I'm really enjoying the practice, the mock interviews that we're doing, where I ask people questions. I try to be the hardest interviewer around, and you have a chance to practice. We debrief. Those are proving really valuable for people as well. But also the other thing is helping people to get much clearer about where are they going in their career. So you're not just getting any old job next that then in 6 months time you're going, oh gee, this isn't what I actually want. You're actually really understanding what is the purpose that drives you, and you've got something much bigger, a much bigger North Star that you're aiming for. That can be really powerful as well. I just got a message yesterday from someone called Daniel, who he'd been in a role for 9 years and he was kind of stuck, pigeonholed as Dan the tech man. And so, the biggest value, in fact, Dan wasn't even in my coaching program. It was just through some of the content that I'd put out and some of the chats we had on LinkedIn, where he said, the biggest value is he was able to put himself forward through the job search process in a way that felt really authentic to him, whereas previously he'd been actually trying to hide parts of himself. And so when he started showing up in that way, he had much more success. So anyway, thank you so much for getting this far in the video. Do feel free to reach out if you're looking for any more guidance. Good luck.